We're starting in 2 minutes, guys. Share this around. We got a special guest with us today. CEO of Maven, John, is back with us today, as well with the usuals, James and Emma. We're going to be talking about productivity today, how to balance with creating life with your normal life, work life, and your fun style of life. Right, guys, I'm back here. Maven Live. We got a big team with us, four corners. We're going to play Foursquare here. I don't know if anyone remembers that game from elementary school. That was a common game. during recess for us with the elementary school with the balls and everything like this. Anyways, guys, let's stop talking about balls and jump back into trading. Emma doesn't like the start of this stream at all. Per usual, Emma's in the corner there, in the lower left. She's going to be taking care of the comments. If you guys got any questions related to productivity, she's going to be picking the best one. 50K account giveaway to the best question at the end of the stream.
I like how you have to clarify which one's Emma in 2025.
Yeah, I have to identify her. Hey.
Yeah. Everyone needs to identify.
Yeah, perfect. We were gonna play a little game. We were gonna see if we could swap John and James's face on the stream beforehand, but we couldn't figure out how to do it in time. Guys, yeah. So John, the master of productivity, I had to get him on here, or as he liked to put it to me, he said he's not the master of productivity. He overloads himself. John, you want to give a brief introduction to maybe what your day looks like as a Maven CEO?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the first thing I do is I wake up in the morning, usually early. And when I say early, I'm talking like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. my time. I never use an alarm. I don't need to. I'm just I'm up. And first thing I do, quick glass of water, cappuccino. And then I'm on my screens. I have a bunch of screens in front of me. Take a look at what the markets are doing. I take a look at all communication channels for Maven. See if there's any issues. Take a quick scan through the tickets on Discord. See if there's anything that needs my help, and then my brain just starts to gel at that point and start figuring out what my next priority is.
Mm-hmm. Now it's interesting. Yeah. Let's look at how each of us start our days. Now, I sent you a photo this morning of me shotgunning a 5-hour energy drink just so that I could wake up at 5 a.m. And it's crazy to me that each of us have our own productivity hack that helps us stay productive throughout the day. And mine, in the mornings, I feel terrible in the mornings, but I do it because this is what we need to do in order to get to the next step. Is we need to start the day early. We need to make sure that everything is in a line before the market starts. James, I know you're a different time zone, so you don't need to wake up 5 a.m. like we do. How do you start your day?
I thought John was joking when he said I'm getting up at 4 a.m. Yeah,
I'm serious.
And the funny thing is he's 4 hours ahead of me. So he's waking up at like midnight my time.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. I mean, I'm 6 hours right now, 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So, I mean, I'm only really going to bed at about midnight because obviously American markets close at about, well, now they used to close at 11 p.m. Now they close at 10 p.m. with the hour different time zone change. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm still up late, so I can't wake up early in the morning. I'm waking up only about 8 o'clock, to be honest. That's the time I'm up.
Yeah, and I think Emma does something similar just because she's not following the extreme volatility of the market as much as we are, hey?
Yeah, I like to get up at a normal hour.
Yeah, John's a whole different beast. He wakes up naturally without any sun or anything like this. Okay, guys, that's the introduction. Let's look at the charts. James, if you can also throw your screen on there so we can jump back and forth between the two, because I know people are wondering already. We took a nice short on this market open, and lovely thing that we like to do here is we don't use stop losses. So that stop loss didn't actually get hit. It's just an area in which we would want to get out in case we are getting closes up there. What we were looking for is that monthly level on the NASDAQ getting retouched. You can see that monthly level retouched there during the open before continuation to the downside, because it's been a really, really terrible trend for the bulls and a really, really great trend for the bears. Now let's clean this chart up and look at the stock market overall. We can see, wow, that monthly level is going to be really important. And I believe too, James, you look at the 200 EMA, don't you?
I do. Yes, sir. I do.
Let's look at the daily, right?
No, normally on the 50, it depends. I look at the daily for a larger time frame perspective, but I like looking at the 50-minute time frame for more of like a intraday swing perspective. So yeah, I mean, daily we actually, if you look at the NASDAQ or S&P and NASDAQ on the daily time frame, well, the 21 EMA, which looks like you got up there. We've actually just, kind of taken that out in recent trade,
21. Okay.
recent sessions. So
Okay, we're gonna
we're
get
not
the 21.
bullish, that's for sure.
We got the 21 daily. Want the daily or the weekly? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's look at the daily. The 200 EMA. You can't see it very well, can you? Here.
I can share my screen. Let me get my screen up. Yeah,
Jump yours on there.
But we did have that thing last week. Remember, Hunter, where we said gold or something. So we'll have to actually see. I haven't actually seen that. Remember, we just had our.
We did have that
fading
bet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did both of us lose or?
I don't know. Let's see. We should have at least hedged one another, so one of us would at least win. Let's go like that. There we go. You can share my screen here.
Change to your screen. There you go. All right.
There you go. So we can actually see this is the NASDAQ. So I actually made some money shorting the DAX as well as the S&P 500, so US 500. So this morning, and we actually are coming off this daily VWAP now as well. So I like that. But here's the 200 EMA. We can take off everything actually else on the charts over here. So let's go like that. We take off VWAP.
Make it clean.
Yeah, we go like that. We can go like this, like that.
It's very confusing looking at someone else's chart when there's multiple lines, But when we draw our own lines, we know what each one is. But then I jump on their chart and it's like there's just 100 lines. Don't
even know what it is. Dude, I've seen some of these futures traders with like volume profile and everything up like that. I confused as the hell out of me, dude.
Now that actually brings me to a question: is how do you stay productive on the chart and keep it clean? I've got my own little method. Do you have anything that allows you to keep that mind clear?
I guess when you're doing it over and over again, you know what you're looking at. Like, you know what your stuff is on your charts. I know what mine are. So I guess if you, over and over again, if you're doing it repeatedly, repeatedly, and that's the word.
You don't have any tricks?
Yeah.
I like to color code my
that is
different. So
yes, different colors.
So I've got blue for a zone on the. Here, I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to jump to mine here.
Yeah.
So I've got, let's say we're on the NASDAQ, right? And I wanted to take buys off that level, right? I've got this other one. So I use the GAN box and I've set it so there's no lines in between. I've changed it. And then I got this other color for the actual box so I can see which side would be shorts and which sides are sells or buys, right? And then I also have these lines, the longer lines for the weekly and monthly levels, and these ones are for the intraday levels. So that allows me to be a little bit more organized. Anyways, let's jump.
I like color coding it for sure. It makes it like, for me, I'll have like the weekly VWAP on, which is like this blue one, and then I'll have like the daily 21, the 15-minute 21, which is the red. Then my daily VWAP is the black. So I mean, that is something for productivity. You can't have, you definitely can't have them all the same. That would definitely confuse one.
Okay, right. Are you continuing on the NASDAQ? So I think we cut off the trade ideas that we were talking about.
Yeah, the NASDAQ, definitely. We were sitting at this daily 21, at daily 21 EMA on the 50-minute chart, and also the daily VWAP. So as long as we was trading also below the weekly VWAP, which was obviously set from yesterday, I would be short bias here today. That's just something that, again, I spoke about the 200 EMA on multiple other streams with you guys. And it's just something that helps me keep like a clear bias, like line in the sand. Okay, this is like, if price is making bearish price action and we're below it, I want to look for short. I'll look for shorts for that particular day.
Totally. Yeah. The 200 EMA got destroyed a few days ago. And I think this is the first time in years that the stock market has actually been below the 200 EMA. And I can scan back, if you wanted to scan back too, it was actually October of 23. So that was 2 years ago nearly. That we've been in a bull market. So I guess technically by that indication, we would be in a bear market at this point. So that's why you're looking for shorts too, hey?
Yeah, correct. I mean, as you said, you spot on there. There we go. He has October. This is the 200 EMA, which is white, is in October 2023. I mean, we haven't breached that since, this was probably the only last time that we breached it was in August. Remember when we had that massive sell-off on the weekend on August last year? That was back, then, but now we are multiple days below it. So definitely that's leading me to the short bias and why I shorted the S&P today. I didn't short the NASDAQ, I shorted S&P, but we know they kind of move together in tandem.
Now, the one thing that's going to save our ass, I think, is if the monthly ends up closing bullishly, if we do gain that 200 EMA once again. By the end of the month, I'll say, hey, we are back in a bull market. But right now, I think it's there's no indication of that happening quite yet. Hopefully it happens within the next week or so.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it is going to be interesting. What did we say? What was our two positions again, Hunter?
Now,
was it Bitcoin and gold?
I remember mine. And it was
Bitcoin.
Yeah,
and it's not looking too great, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember mine was 85,300 or 83,500, one of the two. But right at those previous lows, and I'm definitely down. If you jump to Bitcoin or gold, we can
let's go. He has Tuesday. We kind of back at the same price where we were at on last week for gold, right? So mine
I think you might have won then.
Yeah, but it's a break even trade. We're back at almost the same.
You definitely won then if you're break even. I'm a loser today. Chris, does colors of the candles affect your decision making? Oh, totally. Yeah. That's why I have. If I just show you guys really quick so you can see here. Orange goes up because of Maven only goes up, right? And white because it's the perfect contrast, of course. It doesn't matter what the bearish candles are because we don't care about those ones. But orange going up, it does make you more profitable. It's been proven by my live streams. Okay, guys, let's talk productivity. Let's get John and Emma back in the conversation. They're sitting there patiently. So we briefly discussed the intro to our days. How do we start, our days in order to be productive? Do you have any? Let's go deeper into your morning and evening sort of routine so that you can wind up. Because I think there's a really important. Maybe I'm wrong here. Is maybe you guys just dive into it immediately. But I think getting our minds ready for the right task. And then winding down afterwards might be really important. So do you guys have any pre or post routines that you follow?
Absolutely. Like I was saying before, I always start off with water and coffee. And I'll just start looking at information coming in. I won't output any information for the first 30 minutes that I'm awake because I find that my mind hasn't gelled yet.
Yeah.
And part of that mind gelling process for me is, we're running a business with multiple pieces here, right? So you have to make sure that when you're making decisions, your emotions are in check. It's no different than trading. So I'm not going to put anything out into the ether or talk to anyone where my emotions might not be 100% and I might not be at baseline, right? So essentially what I'm doing is I'm getting myself to my standard baseline first when I wake up in the morning. And then at that point, once I feel, myself again after half an hour or so, then I'll start interacting with people at Maven.
That's smart. Just get as much information as you can. Wait for the emotions to calm because there is a huge adrenaline spike in the morning. I noticed that maybe not adrenaline, but a little bit of a panic for myself because I'm already kind of late for things. There's so much flooding going on, and I literally lay in bed for 30 minutes. With a light on my face and some nice calm music going so that I can slowly get out of bed and I take my time despite having to wake up super early. James, Emma, do you guys have a specific routine that helps you?
I don't have like a specific routine I do every single morning. I wouldn't say, I got a kid now.
You got to wake up at 8.
Yeah, so,
you got to sleep.
Yeah, so I don't have. I just wake up. I have a coffee. Chill with my son, my wife, and then I maybe answer a few emails, and then I go to gym. That's kind of what I do in the mornings because then obviously we have London Open only at 10 a.m. South African time. So I can go to gym. I can wake up at 8, chill for an hour, go to gym from 9 to 10, and then be ready for the Open at 10. So that's kind of what I do. I find my peak productivity actually like when in terms of trading, you don't really have to be so productive to trade. Trading is kind of like, it's like you just have to sometimes just wait. So I find my peak productivity in terms of like my emails and stuff like that. Any other work that I need to do comes in the evening time, my time, like after the sun has set, actually.
Emma, funny one. I wanted to touch on, unless Emma, you want to dive in here with anything critical on your routine?
I don't think there's anything critical. I think the only thing I do differently from the rest of you is I actually choose not to drink coffee generally for up to 2 hours in the morning because I want my natural circadian rhythm to like wake me up. Otherwise, you end up reliant on caffeine.
Maybe that's my problem.
I've been doing that for years now, and it helps me wake up more. And if I'm really tired, especially in the winter, I'll just walk outside and the fresh air will wake me up.
You're telling me shotgunning Red Bull from my bed is not the best idea?
I mean, we did tell you that this morning, but whether you listen or not, it's not really up to us.
Yeah. Now, that also touches on the thing that I wanted to discuss next. John made an interesting point. He said, what was it? That something about, it's an emotional, like running a business is an emotional thing, just like trading, right? That we don't want to output anything until we're ready, right? And Emma said, don't shotgun Red Bulls in bed because it makes you emotional, right? And so how about we discuss emotions, detoxing from dopamine or promoting certain calming emotions, like, maybe there's serene music playing or something. What sort of strategies help us focus and keep calm and make the right decisions, which is, again, absolutely critical, guys, when it comes to trading? It's the most important thing. It's not even your strategy. The most important thing is making the right decision emotionally.
Yeah, I actually got a really good question earlier. It wasn't time for it yet. That was specifically about emotions and productivity and how your emotions help your productivity versus how they don't help your productivity as well.
Oh, like basically touching on the idea that your emotions spark motivation,
creativity, like whatever it is for you.
Yeah, there's with my personal routine, because I do advocate very much like boxing your day into different things. My evenings are just usually jam-packed with exciting, like I send you guys messages all through the night sometimes of like all these crazy ideas I have, because that's my time where I can be creative and the emotions just start going nuts because I don't need to do anything anymore. Right? I don't need to take action. So there's different ways that I prioritize my day. In the morning is action. In the afternoon is the crazy whimsical side, right? Because I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of like living and existing. And that's when the excitement comes out of those ideas. Guys, I wanted to know, I asked you a question. Your routines, not necessarily routines, but how do we keep those emotions in check in order to stay productive and take the right actions?
Yeah, I think the most important thing when dealing with trading, a business, anything where there's a lot of inputs.
John everyone laughs one by one.
When you're dealing with a lot of inputs, right, or a lot of possibilities, you want to make sure that before you react, you have all of the information and that you've processed it properly, right? I can give you a perfect example. Today, there was a small time discrepancy in our feed. Don't
tell them that.
It lasted for a couple of minutes where our charts were actually delayed by, I think, about 30 seconds. And this was on all the firms running Match. And anyway, so a couple people noticed in our chat, in our Discord group. So essentially, you would be able to tell the future if you were trading on Maven for about 12 minutes today. For you to have a 30-second window into the future. And anyways, one person, writes down, oh, this is manipulation. This is chart manipulation, right? And then a few other people jumped on the bandwagon and said the exact same thing. Well, okay, sure. Yeah. I mean, first of all, it wasn't manipulation. There are errors that happen. But if that individual would have processed that information correctly, they would have realized, 1 second here, this is to my advantage. Instead of jumping right to that. So I guess my point is that you have to make sure that you get all the inputs, all the information, and then process it. And I would say that that's how you try to keep things as emotionless as possible when you're making decisions.
Basically kind of step away for a minute before you react, right? Now,
Exactly.
here's my question to you. So you gave that person advice. What's your advice to yourself after you read this, where you I'm assuming you took it as, hey, what does he know? So
what
a little emotional, right?
Well, of course, obviously, when I see that happening, I go, okay, so that's interesting. I see that, and then I see a couple other people say that as well, and I'm like, okay, well, is there an actual problem here, right? So I pull up TradingView, I pull up our charts, I'm looking very diligently, and looking to see if I can see a discrepancy between the two, and then of course, once I saw that there was a actual time delay on our charts, so you can see like 30 seconds into the future if you're looking elsewhere. Then I reached out to Seb, of course, and then we brought it up the chain and brought it up to match, and then the situation was rectified.
Yeah, good story. And now John is an interesting character to be talking about this stuff, because I can see you working with you side by side is you are so disciplined with controlling those emotions, but I can see it just like inside you. You're like, you want to take action all the time. Yes. Because you're that intense character, yes. Right? And he's like, let's do this, right? This is the back room, John and me. He's, Chris, let's do this, let's do that, right? But he never takes action until he's like, wait, hold on.
yeah, that's it. You know what? I mean, for myself, I would say that comes with age. Everyone else is different, of course. I didn't have that ability, when I was in my early 20s. So what do you see? When you see me being like, yeah, let's do this. When I was in my early 20s, I was doing it. Yeah. It's like, there was no second thought. It's like, we're doing it.
Yeah, the brain doesn't tell you no. It just tells you all of the positives. Right. I don't know if you ever go on Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets.
Of course.
They have a saying. It's called "Can't possibly go tits up." And it's all about only seeing the positive and betting your entire life savings on one bet, and it can't possibly go tits up. Anyways, James, Emma, if either of you want to discuss on that, I think we got a little bit off that topic.
Yeah. I want to know what chart was the discrepancy on. Was it all of the charts or just one asset?
Yeah, James is plotting here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna come up with a new indicator, Hunter. No, I'm gonna tell guys I know the future. Sign up for my course. But no, in terms of productivity, I think that's quite, in terms of handling the emotions and productivity like that, you're going to have a few things that are going to go against you quite often. I think that's something that I've had to learn since, also growing up, is that, nothing's going to go exactly the way that you plan. It never will. It's never going to. And you just got to learn to take a few things on the chin and move forward. And what is your next best step, right? You fail a Maven account. Okay, what is your best next step? Probably not to go and buy another one that same next day. It's just not the best thing to do. What is the next best thing to do? Okay, let's analyze. Let's look at your data. Let's look at our stats. What did we do well? Where did we go wrong? And think of it from a logical perspective. If you think from an emotional perspective, you're probably not going to last long-term as a trader in the trading business in the game, right? Even as a businessman, you're probably not going to last long-term. So my thought process whenever things don't go, right the way that I would like to, and that's called life, is just take a step back, look at myself from an objective point of view, like where's it going well, what's going wrong, how can I fix it, what's my next best step? And that's how I kind of plot. My life and how I do things, because I make plenty of mistakes, and we're all going to make, and I'm going to make plenty more mistakes, but you just got to say, okay, how can I fix this, or how can I make it better from the next best step? So that's what I would say in terms of trading, life, and anything like that.
I know Andrew Tate has a nice quote regarding chess. He says, there's always, and this has nothing to do with Andrew Tate. This is like, there's always a best move, no matter how fucked you are. No matter how many few chips you have left, there's always a best move, right?
Yeah.
And that's that. There's some insight to it, right? What's the best next move? No matter how much money I just lost, no matter how much my daily routine got messed up today, no matter how many donuts I ate last night and I couldn't wake up this morning, what's the next best move? A shotgun or Red Bull in the bed.
I'm going to interject with the next question just because we have a good one here. Yeah. They're asking about how your personal relationships affect your productivity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. John.
Headed off to you.
Yeah, this is a loaded question, eh? Yeah, that's a great question. I wonder if anyone that I'm involved in a personal relationship is watching this stream right now. Actually, I would say that in terms of my personal relationships, my boundaries are always clearly set when it comes to work.
Yeah.
I am a workaholic.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be the first one to admit that. It's a double-edged sword. It's a flaw. It's a perk. It's both ends. So for that, I mean, because I'm such a workaholic and I've set that boundary clear, it's probably the only clear boundary that I set in a personal relationship is that, I got to be a Maven. Like I have to, this is what I have to do. I always have to be there for the company. I would say that it doesn't really affect my, my work life because I've set that boundary so rigidly. Now, there's definitely downsides to that. I'll say that for sure in terms of my personal relationships, but in terms of work, it definitely favors the work side of things.
Now, they talk about boundaries. There's different ways you can apply boundaries, and you use the word rigid, and I think that's actually the correct term of having a very strict boundary that you never give up for anything really. There's the opposite side is porous sort of boundaries, and if you're setting boundaries around your work but they're very porous and they're loose, right? So you can basically get manipulated out of these boundaries. You're going to really have your work life being destroyed just because somebody tells you, hey, let's stay up late and have some snacks and watch a movie. And now I can't wake up on time in the morning, right? Where John has set very, very strict boundaries, where that on the other side destroys the other relationship in similar manners, right? So to find the balance between the two is going to be completely dependent on personally yourself, your values, and what it is that you're applying them to, right? And they can change with person to person too. You might have looser boundaries with your spouse versus your buddy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the other side of the coin is I also have to tip my hat off to those that I have personal relationships, whether it's family, friends, or romantically. They are very patient with me, and they respect that boundary. They understand where I'm coming from. They know that I have a long-term goal, right? And that I truly do mean well for everyone. And sometimes the patient wears thin, but for the most part, everyone around me is very patient with my work-life balance or lack of their.
Now, James, tell me about the patience the baby has.
Yeah, no, the baby does not have any patience.
Does your child respect your boundaries? The market's open. Don't cry.
Yeah, the baby's hungry, dude. Let's just say that there's that's something where I've had to actually learn, and when I'm working and I say to Amanda, my wife, I say, listen, just give me 5 more minutes. And Amanda always says, James, is it your 5 minutes or my 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Because my 5 minutes is like an hour, bro. I can stay here working. Like when I'm in the zone, I'm working. Yeah. But when that baby's hungry, dude, and Amanda's maybe out the house or she's in the shower, whatever she's doing, getting ready for the day, that I have to look after that baby. I can't just stop, so I've been right here and I'm looking after him while I'm doing my thing in the morning. But the baby does not have patience for the work-life balance. Let's just say that. But it's he's obviously a blessing. But I think it's good, so it's actually made me think like I can't be working from 8 in the morning until 12 at night. I can't be doing that. So for me, like I take my mornings quite chilled. Like I'll trade maybe the DAX, the German index in the mornings. And then I'll go about my day. I might only look at it for an hour. I might even look at it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 30 minutes, take a position and then just go about my day. And it's either going to hit my stop loss or take profit. And then the afternoons is my main trading session when I'm trading, US indexes and stocks and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think you have to have a good work-life balance. Yes, you want to be, a lot of guys, you mentioned Andrew Tate. A lot of guys will watch Andrew Tate and think they need to be up, 23 hours a day and only sleeping for 1 hour. I think it's not. Is
that what he advocates? And did you point at the floor when you said the baby's right there?
Yeah. He'll sit on his thing on whatever they call it, bouncer on the floor. That's what they call it, a bouncer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, he's not sitting on the floor yet. He's not. He's not a second-rate citizen. Once the second child comes born, he'll be a second-rate citizen.
It's funny because you guys have taken this completely different way than how I interpreted it. Because the way I interpreted it was, if your personal relationships have an impact on your productivity overall, which I would argue, yes, absolutely. Like there's that saying that the 5 people that you spend the most time with kind of create your average.
I see.
And that's not necessarily true, but you're super influenced by the people you end up spending time with, right?
Yeah.
Whether
100%.
it's family or friends or whatever, that will impact the way you do your work and your productivity. If you have a bunch of people who are dragging you down constantly, your productivity is going to be crap no matter what your boundaries are.
100%.
Yeah.
I think I brought up what I mentioned with my boundary being rigid. I guess the statement behind the statement was that the people that I do hang around with are the type of people that can respect that boundary.
Yeah.
And are the type of people that can foster my motivation, in my professional life.
Yeah. Luckily, the people I hang out with respect my boundaries perfectly. I act perfectly, and all of the people are absolutely perfect. So I end up rubbing off on them.
Sure. It's because you're spending time with us all the time, right?
I think that might be what I'm implying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, What's this question popping up now?
Yeah. So someone's asking what the top 3 habits are that highly productive traders follow to stay consistent and disciplined.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. That might be a contender for a winner.
I want to just on that point. I would want to say I'll mention a book. It's called The 12 Habits of Highly Successful Traders. I think it's by some. Have you read that book?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Nice. It's a very, very good book. I enjoy it. So maybe go read that book. But they mention
Pop up the question again, Emma.
Oh, just a sec.
Continue. Sorry.
There
Sorry, James. Yeah. Sorry, James. You can continue. I wanted to read it again.
Yeah. So the Canadian English, South African English is on it. What are the top 3 habits of the highly productive traders follow to stay consistent and disciplined? So as I say, I think that book's a really, really good book to follow. But I think what we're talking about productivity is a routine. John's mentioned his routine, is that if you're doing something different every single day, it's very hard to be consistent. And again, also in life as well, if you're inconsistent in your, I think we spoke about this, I think it was a week or 2 ago on the stream here, but if you can't prove discipline off the desk or anything like that, or you're inconsistent in your day-to-day things, you're not going to be consistent on the trading desk or in business or anything like that. That's just a fact, So, you need to show consistency as a whole. I think consistency as a whole in your routines and the way you are as a person as well. Like you can't be one person behind closed doors and then, on social media, someone else. Yeah, it's good to have a personality, but I think you still need to have like the same morals and values and ethics, no matter who's watching, So I think that's probably something I would say that definitely helps the trading. It's just the consistency as a person and as a routine as a whole, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can dive in on this, and it's something similar to consistency. It's very much I strive very hard to find balance in my life, right? I work very, very hard, of course, but I equally balance that with other things as well. I work out every single day for the past, 12 years, right? I also, I do some meditation, some spiritual stuff, and I do force myself to be social every single day. I go and I hang out with some sort of friend somewhere, some sort of fun thing somewhere, right? So that way, each again, the day's blocked into different things, and then that way you can really be productive in each of those things when the time does come. You end up getting a little bit drained every once in a while, but you can shift and adapt based off of how you're actually feeling. And it allows you to be really productive when the time comes, rather than getting burnt out and just constantly grinding.
I think something just to add in, I just want to add something as well that you mentioned. You're not going to be productive at like your 100% peak productivity every single day of the week. There's going to be some days where it's going to be a bit, more shit to get up in the morning because you're tired, or I don't know, the baby never slept or something like that. And you're going to be a bit more tired that day. So that's the days that you just need to hit your routine, get what you can, do what you can do, and then move on, because not every single day you're going to be pumped up and ready to take on the world. That's just a fact as well. So don't think that every single day you need to be, like you're going to rip your, t-shirt off and go to gym with Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. But the second the stream ends, that's why I got the button shirt. It's a lot easier to rip off. I've been slowly unbuttoning more and more as time goes on too.
True. Yeah, I think the other thing that people really need to focus on is self-assessment, because everyone in trading, I think when they start out, they blame everything on outward influence. It's either the markets are screwing me over somehow, it's other people, it's this and that. Yeah. But like ultimately, if you're not self-reflecting, and this goes beyond trading, it's in everything, you are never going to learn and move forward and do the things you have to do.
I love that. I remember getting into a fight with one of my best friends because I have the very strong belief that everything is my fault. And he took that to an extreme literal sense where he said, what if you get hit by a car? And then that's just funny enough. It was a week before I got hit by a truck in Italy. And he's like, is it your fault? Is it your fault if somebody T-bones you? And I'm like, yeah, it's my fault for also driving recklessly, for not driving slow enough. But the whole point of those beliefs is you can't change somebody else's actions. You can't change the market's actions. You can't change how the day goes by, right? All you can do is find where you went wrong and then possibly adjust it in the future. So that it's less.
You know what? To add to that, or to get my take on it, is, and this goes with business as well as trading, is always pick your battles. You don't have to fight them all. And how you can relate this to trading is, especially when you're first starting, you're looking at the chart, you've been listening to your favorite mentor or watching some trading videos. You might be forcing, a certain pattern in your mind on the charts and trying to enter into that battle when you're not quite ready, right? You have to be, conservative with which battles you're going to choose every time you're clicking buy or sell, or whatever it is that you're doing. You're essentially challenging yourself. You're challenging the market, and now this is a battle that you're now in. Are you going to win or are you going to lose? So you have to choose your battles wisely, because like James said, you can exhaust yourself very easily, and if you try to fight them all, you will get exhausted.
I love how John's applying some tips into the trading world now. He's, fight your battles, fight which trades you're going to fight for, right? Okay. I got a couple more topics we can discuss. We got another about 15 minutes at maximum here. A pendulum is an interesting idea, and I think it very much applies to productivity. A pendulum, swings back and forth, and as I don't know if this is the best analogy, but if the momentum is going very strong, it's very slow in order to make it stop, right? And that can be, the pendulum can either go to extreme strength in a positive direction or in a negative direction. So as you get momentum behind you and you're getting into the swing of things, people say hot streaks or, kind of these losing streaks and things like this, right? It's much easier to just keep pushing that momentum going, and it snowballs it very, very strong, right? And it takes a very long time to go from being a winner, winning so much and having all this motivation and momentum behind you in order to get into a losing state. So how do we keep that momentum going of productivity? And then inversely, if you prefer, how do we bounce back faster if we're on a negative pendulum. Does this make sense, guys?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So either or, if anyone wants to chime in on that, let's start a discussion. I think good pendulums, bad pendulums. How do we make sure it stays good? You know.
Do you want me to take this one first?
Anyone wants to jump in on that? I'm leaving an open question. We're just going to chat.
Okay. Yeah. I always find that it's hard to get a routine started, you know, but once you have that routine and you keep doing it over and over and over again, routine becomes instinct. And I think this is, I don't know if this relates exactly to a pendulum, but this definitely relates to momentum. So if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you find that healthy habit, you find that thing that works for you. You know, for me, it's waking up, letting all the information come in at me, you know, for the first 30 minutes while I have my coffee and I process. That works for me.
Yeah.
If I were to stop that, if I were to go away for a vacation, which I rarely do, but when I do things like that, it's very hard for me to get that routine back. It's like 10 times the effort. So I would say that, yeah, momentum is one of those things that you got to pick your healthy habits and keep going, because you're right. You know, when the pendulum swings back, when you're going in the opposite direction, it takes a lot of force to get it to go in the direction you want it to.
I'll give you a very brief example of how stopping the momentum and stopping the pendulum can really ruin your productivity. Is I used to go into like over exerting myself and then just crashing, right? So it kind of really what's the word? Is it burnout? I would burn out myself and then just do nothing afterwards, right? Because I would work way too hard and I wouldn't be able to keep out, and then I would crash, right? After I crashed, it would take me 3 days. Every single time, I remember this. It would take me 3 days to get back to normal work, right? Because the first day, and how I would actually structure it is, the first day, as I said, all I have to do today basically is go back to the gym, because then I'm getting some physical exercise. The brain will start working. The blood will start flowing again. The next day, okay, I'm only doing light work today, right? And I would every once in a while, every couple of months, burn out, and it would take me 3 full days basically to get back to normal, because I wasn't able to keep that momentum and the solid pendulum going. It just crashed, right? And I'm sure some people have similar sort of struggles too, right? In that they might get this burnout. And that was a trick that I used in order to help myself get back to it. Is the hardest part was always just starting something, right? So as long as I told myself, all I have to do is this little bit, and that little bit allowed me to get back into the swing of things and start that pendulum again.
I was just having a look at the guys' Twitter here in the background. I thought I saw some fun things. It makes sense now. John says on his bio on his Twitter, it says, "I don't sleep." So it makes sense why he doesn't sleep. And Hunter's name on Twitter is Dumb Hunter. So that's quite interesting. Some funny stuff on Twitter, that's for sure. But
I think my bio says everything I say is wrong too.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So no, on the pendulum though, the pendulum, I would say, yeah, again, you want to be going at kind of like a consistent. I think something that helps me with my pendulum is I have a why for what I'm doing. Like, it helps me keep the pendulum going. Like, if you've got a reason behind what you're doing. I had a coaching call the other day with one of our guys that we coach, mentor, right? He was feeling a little bit burnt out, and I told him, dude, just take a break. Came back, had a break. The next month he crushed it. Because he actually just was feeling a bit burnt out. Watching the markets 24/7 is mentally taxing. Doing business or replying to emails, dealing with issues like latency issues on the back end like that, it's tiring. It's tough. It's mentally draining, because you're dealing with customer support. Everything's a whole mess up and everything. And now you need to go about your day. So I think in terms of that, you need to find out, have a why behind why you're doing it. And that's going to keep you going, but also be ready to take breaks to keep that pendulum going. Taking a break is a good mental reset, whether that's going for a weekend. I think the biggest thing is, and we spoke about this about 3 weeks ago, I think, Hunter, but about like, don't spend your whole weekend back testing. It's probably not going to, it's probably not going to make you a much better, no offense, but it's not going to make you a much better trader. It's all the stuff that you got to fix is you already know what you need to do. It's probably not your system. You're probably oversized, over leveraged. So stuff like that when it comes to trading, just sometimes having breaks to keep that pendulum flowing has helped me a lot in my own trading. I mean, last week I was on a bit of a losing streak, and I came back and I took a break on Tuesday, came back on Wednesday. I had another loss. I told myself, listen, I'm just going to chill on Thursday. And then Friday I came back and I actually had such a good day that it made back my profits for the week. And that's how it can be. This game can be mentally draining as traders for those that are listening. So make sure to take breaks in between.
How did you recognize the fact that you needed a break?
I was getting too emotional. We're talking about this emotional. I was getting too emotional. As soon as I see that in my trading, I know for a fact that I'm not talking from a logical perspective. I'm swearing to myself underneath my breath and whatever, and it's not, then I know I'm not acting like my usual self, because that's just getting emotional, and about things. So that's when I told myself, dude, James, I just need a little bit of a break. Let's come back. The markets aren't going to disappear. And I think that's also, you also have to have things in the back end, like don't trade all your accounts at the same time. I know Hunter's quite a big advocate for that, because then you have one bad day and you lose all of your accounts, So at least I've put those things in measures like that to actually be like, okay, to be sustainable long-term. So you must always check yourself. Do you need a break? Where are you feeling at mentally? Are you getting snappy with your significant other or partner like that? That's science to say you actually sometimes just need to chill. Maybe you just need to relax and see the bigger picture. Yeah.
You need to reserve 1 hour a day just to chill, relax, and do nothing.
Yeah.
I've got sorry to interrupt, but I've gotten a few questions on this. People were asking about your environment and the impact your environment has on your productivity. Is there anything you guys do to make sure your environment stays the way you want it to be for productivity?
Yeah. Should I show you out the window here?
Okay, come on.
Yeah,
we all know about your lovely view. What about like your house? Like what you do at home? How do you maintain a productive flow?
I have a girl that comes by every once in a while that just cleans for me. She does all. It's funny because my house is pristine, right? And my friend is like, "Why you have a girl cleaning?" Right? It's like because if it's not spotless, I have to worry about the spot that's on the sink. Right. And I have to know that I'm going to go clean it later and know that there's a dish out there and I have all these things lying around and that's taxing my brain. Right. So the view is another thing there's actually an interesting thing is the farther that you can look, the lower your cortisol will be. Right. So if you're ever feeling stressed out and you're feeling taxed, it's going to sound weird. Go look as far as you can. That sounds really weird to say.
Wow. That's interesting.
Farthest distance that you can. And there's a reason why. You're sitting in front of your computer and you start feeling stressed out. But when you're out in nature, it's calm. Yeah, right? It's because you can see further. You know why? And I think this is why. Is because we are both predators and prey, right? Being humans. And the more we can see, the safer we are. Right. So it lowers your stress hormone, because the stress hormone is what keeps you alert and ready to react when the caveman mind needs to run away, right?
That's interesting. So are you suggesting that instead of using screens, we use the Apple Vision Pro there, or whatever they call it, the augmented reality to work, so then we could see far and the screens at the same time? Is that what we need to do?
I guess that brings us into next month's discussion is the tech behind trading and how to. So maybe we'll get you back talking tech. Emma, let's get a couple questions before we wrap up. We got 5 minutes at maximum. Okay.
All right. Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I did just throw that one out at you. Let's see.
Do you guys have anything with your house that keeps you, like, aside from what I already said, that keeps it top?
Dude, sorry, John. For me, I've got a lake, like a dam, right outside my. So that's actually interesting that you bring it up. I actually got literally from here. It's dark now. It's evening time, so I can't see it. My eyes aren't that good. But in the daytime when I'm trading, you can actually look out over here, and there's actually a dam, a beautiful dam with like the birds and everything. And what you're saying, whenever I'm in a trade, I'm like feeling a bit stressed. I just look out there, and it actually does make me quite a lot more relaxed. You're quite right, actually.
There's a reason why I have 2 spare bedrooms that I do nothing with. There's a reason why that's not my office. Right. And I'm using my living room as an office is because there's so much more room and I can see further. Right.
Yeah. Sure.
John, you need to move up. You need to move into your living room.
Yeah, move into my living room. You know what? Well, for those of you who've been following me for long enough, you all know that I'm actually building an off-grid cottage that has a really nice view. And the idea is to eventually start working from there, or spending some of my time there anyway, so I can see far. I guess that's the goal.
You want to see as far as possible, because that determines how good your life is. I heard a really funny thing is you can tell somebody's wealth by how many walls their bed touches. Think about it.
Ridiculous. Or they have a really, really big bed. Okay.
Yeah, no, well, I'm saying, like, the richest people, their beds are in the middle of their room, right? Those are the palaces. I once had an apartment where my bed touched all four walls. I slid it in, it fell, and then it touched all four.
That's wild.
I'm interested in knowing if there's a difference with your whole like far vision thing between men and women, because I immediately, when you said all I was thinking about was every time I go into like a restaurant or anything with a guy, they always want to sit facing the door because they can see far at that point, because otherwise if they're sitting facing a wall, they're very close to the wall, where that doesn't necessarily bother me as much. Like being in a more closed space is fine.
It's so that they can protect you in case an attack comes in.
I've literally seen men like fight over the spots, like facing the door. They're like, I need to be able to see.
Yeah, you need to be able to see if danger comes.
Emma, didn't you mention the other day that if you ever go on a date with a guy and they don't take that spot, that you don't trust them?
Yeah. So it is actually a thing. I have said that to John before. And I know that sounds like really, really random of all the things to assess people on. But it tells me that they're thinking about their environment. So they're thinking beyond themselves into their environment. Yeah.
All the crazy things
we're random
here. Hang on, Maven Live. Right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. Emma, pick a winner, unless there's one urgent question that we need to get out.
Hey, how about we make this a little bit more fun? Yep. Why don't we pick someone who can identify who that guy is?
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
Comment.
I like it. Games.
Wait, I'm waiting.
I know who it is.
Someone's got to know who it is.
Yeah.
Everyone's.
I mean, we're on a delay, so you're gonna wait for a little bit before the comments start rolling in.
Oh, okay.
Well, someone says I watch a lot of movies. I don't. I really don't watch a lot of movies. I'm not really a movie person.
Oh yeah.
And if no one gets it, then just pick a random person, of course.
I like this answer the most.
Like that.
No one's got it so far.
It's a silly photo. Nobody's gonna get it. Because it doesn't.
I mean,
Hunter.
I got it when I first saw it, but
there's no chance somebody's gonna get it. I only know who it is because you've said the name before.
I mean, otherwise, I have someone I can select based on questions asked.
Okay, so. Emma, pick the winner. We're wrapping up here. I got a meeting in 2 minutes that I need to get into. So, guys, if you missed out on the win today, on the giveaway today, there's always more giveaways inside the Discord and on my live streams. To follow us on all of our socials there, you can check it out. We do lots of giveaways lately. We're doing a podcast, though, every Tuesday with James and Emma. Next week, we're going to be discussing more on the momentum of trading and snowballing yourself into profits. Next month, I'm not sure what we'll do next month, but it's too early for that. Guys, thanks for watching every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. UTC or 9 a.m. PST. I guess we might be a different time zone now, aren't we?
Or 7 p.m. South African time, 6 p.m. South African time.
It's different now. It's different now because we literally just switched
changed
this past Sunday. Okay, guys, maybe that's
one as well. If there's any South African traders in the chat as well, hit me up on Twitter as well. I'd love to connect with you guys too.
Yep. James Bruce on Twitter. What's your handle on Twitter?
131.
James Bruce 131 on all social media, I believe, right? Okay.
That's the one.
Emma, who's the winner?
Forex Wiz is the winner. Got the comment below. Just pop into Discord to claim.
Forex Wiz, congrats. He's so happy that nobody figured out that that's Anthony Bourdain.
As you say it out loud, it's like, finally. Yeah, everyone look up Anthony Bourdain after this.
Right, guys, that's the stream. Ciao.